Hello, thank you for joining us and welcome to the West Valley Connector informational webinar for businesses along the Holt Boulevard corridor. My name is Madison Viola and I am part of the San Bernardino County Transportation Authority's public outreach team, and you're joining the webinar for the West Valley Connector project. Looks like we have most of the people who are joining right now, so we're going to get started with our presentation. At this time, we are going to provide instructions for anyone interested in hearing today's presentation in Spanish using Zoom's interpretation feature. Once the instructions are given, we will enable the interpretation and begin our presentation. Gabriela, will you please provide the interpretation instructions?
Yes, of course. Buenas noches. Esta noche se está llevando a cabo esta junta con interpretación en español en vivo. Si usted se está conectando a esta junta a través de su computadora, por favor haga clic en el icono de interpretación en las opciones de reunión y después seleccione Spanish o español en el menú despegable. Si usted se está reuniendo a esta junta a través de su teléfono móvil, entonces, por favor, vaya a los controles de su reunión, toque el icono de más o more, que son los tres puntitos, toque la opción de interpretación de idiomas, seleccione el idioma de su preferencia, Spanish o español, y haga clic al finalizar. Muchas gracias. To you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriela. At this time, we will launch our interpretation feature. A couple of items that we'd like to explain before we get underway with the presentation. Today, we will be discussing the West Valley Connector project, specifically construction along the 3.5-mile section on Holt Boulevard to accommodate the center running bus rapid transit lanes. Our webinar will be recorded and posted on our website at go.sbcta.com/West Valley Connector. As part of the webinar feature, your microphone is automatically muted and your cameras are automatically disabled. We will be using the Q&A function to answer your questions, which I'll go over more in the next slide. Our team will provide written responses in real time, and at the conclusion of the presentation, we will highlight and respond to key themes and topics from those questions. And finally, this is an informational meeting to educate you about this project. We believe all positions, positive or negative, related to SBCTA activities should have a voice in the process. However, we expect that this will be done in a respectful manner. SBCTA reserves the right to monitor, filter, and remove content or participants that our team deems inappropriate. For those of you who may not be familiar with Zoom's platform, the Q&A box can be found on the bottom of your screen. Simply click on where it says Q&A and a pop-up will appear on your screen where you can type in your question. We will respond to questions using this feature and address overall topics and themes at the end of our presentation. You may still see the chat feature button at the bottom of the screen. However, chats will only be directed to panelists and utilized to receive more information on questions that require further research. And if you're joining us using the call-in option, please email your questions to info@gosbcta.com. Before we jump into our project, we'd like to introduce the poll feature that we'll be using throughout the presentation to help us better tailor our communications to you during construction. Cynthia, will you please launch our first poll question? We'd like to know how you use the Holt corridor. And while folks are answering, we'll jump into the project overview. The West Valley Connector project is a 19-mile, 100% zero-emission bus rapid transit, or BRT system that will connect the cities of Pomona, Montclair, Ontario, and Rancho Cucamonga, aiming to increase mobility, accessibility, equity, and sustainability in our region. There will be 21 new stations along this 19-mile stretch. A segment of this corridor will include 3.5 miles of newly constructed center-running BRT lanes along Holt Boulevard in the city of Ontario, which is why you are here today to learn about how construction of these center running lanes relates to your business. Construction to widen the 3.5 miles of Holt Boulevard to accommodate the new center running lanes and stations is underway and will continue in phases in late 2025, sorry. Tyson from our construction management team will go ahead and provide the information on the staging in the following slides, but I'm going to give you just a little bit more information right now. Outside of the 3.5 mile corridor, Additional side running stations will be constructed throughout the life of the project, and the entire project is anticipated to be complete in spring 2026, with Omnitrans bus service expected to start shortly thereafter. Please keep in mind that construction is dynamic and this schedule is subject to change. And at this point, I would like to introduce Tyson, who will take us through the construction staging and schedule. Thanks, Tyson.
Thank you, Madison. So good evening, everyone. So first of all, we kind of want to give just a high level snapshot of what the existing configuration is today, as you all know it, and then ultimately what we're going to have. And what you'll see here is that we do have those that bus lane on the inside, and then the center running stations there in the middle. So basically, traffic will be pushed out to the outer sides, and then we're going to have some beautifications on those outer edges. So next slide. So how are we gonna get there? Well, stage one is actually already started, and you'll notice that we've started setting our K-rail over there at Corona and Grove, if you kind of want to see what's going on. But what we're essentially doing is we're working on the north side. So we're shifting all of the traffic to the southern edge of Holt. So we are maintaining 2 lanes of traffic in both directions. And the bulk of our work will be taking place inside that stage 1 work zone. But please be aware that we will occasionally have some lane closures for work within those areas. While we're working here in stage 1, we will be maintaining access to all of the properties. And we will be maintaining pedestrian access at that time. Next slide, please. So once we get through stage 1, we essentially are going to go ahead and do a mirror image and switch over and do all of our work on the south side. So same idea, both 2 lanes of traffic in both directions, both eastbound and westbound. Next slide. And then finally, you will be a lot closer to the final lane configuration. And then the stage 3 work zone will be us essentially constructing those center running stations and wrapping the project up. And this is all scheduled to take place between spring to fall of 2025. Next one. So kind of wanted to go over what you're going to see as we transition into each one of these work zones. Obviously, we're going to be restriping the lanes to shift traffic over. You're going to be seeing K-rail. Like I mentioned, we have this set up over at Corona to Grove already. We're going to be reconstructing curb and gutter and driveways along that whole corridor. For you business owners, we will be reaching out to you. We will be maintaining access at all times. So those of you that have multiple driveways, we may need to close one driveway while we construct the other one. And then, of course, we'll flip-flop. For those of you that only have single access driveways, there's kind of 2 scenarios in that. If it's wide enough, we can build that in halves and still maintain access. If it is too small and we need to do it all at once, we're going to be working with you individually to make sure we're not impacting your businesses or minimizing the impact as much as possible. So we will be reaching out with you with more information on that, your specific property. We're also going to be installing new fire hydrants. We'll be doing some storm drain improvements along the corridor. And of course, because we're doing the widening, we need to relocate a lot of the meters. So we'll have a lot of new water meters in that area. Also to support the widening, we're going to be doing some upgrades and new installations of streetlight traffic poles and modifications to existing signals. So hopefully traffic will flow a little bit smoother through that once we're ultimately finished. And then, of course, we will be doing some beautification with updated landscaping and irrigation throughout the corridor. And with that, I can go ahead and pass it back to Madison.
Thanks so much, Tyson. Now that you have a little bit more information about the staging of construction, we'd like to launch our second poll question. Please let us know which of these options best describes your location on the project corridor. give folks a couple minutes to answer those. Let's take a moment to share what you can expect during construction. As Tyson shared earlier, access to the businesses will be maintained throughout the entirety of the project. Most construction will take place within those protected work zones behind K-rail, with daytime work occurring between 6 a.m. and 4 p.m., and intermittent nighttime work taking place between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. Intermittent lane closures may also take place, but at least one lane will remain open in each direction on Holt at all times. A handful of bus stations will also be relocated, and SBCTA will be working closely with our partners at Omnitrans to communicate these changes. Finally, SBCTA is committed to working with and communicating with corridor businesses ahead of any major construction activities. All right, we wanted to share this slide one more time now that we've gone through the staging, just to show the pre-construction configuration of the Holt corridor and what you can expect once construction is complete. So again, you'll see that we have these two bus lanes here in the middle with the center running station. Holt Boulevard will be widened in each direction to accommodate these guys, and it'll be pushed out just a little bit more with some beautification on the sides there, like Tyson mentioned earlier. This is a rendering that shows what the center running lanes and stations will look like upon completion. And this is a rendering that shows the side running stations that will be constructed outside of the 3.5-mile corridor in the cities of Pomona, Montclair, and Rancho Cucamonga. And once completed, this 19-mile BRT system will be a critical piece in the San Bernardino County's emergence as a modern, sustainable transit hub, not only providing local connectivity, but connecting the region on a larger scale to Los Angeles and Riverside counties. And people who live and work in San Bernardino County will also have a faster, more affordable travel option to get to shopping destinations, service providers, jobs, schools, and visit friends and family. We recognize and appreciate the uniqueness of this project and your challenges during construction, and we want to assist local businesses in any way that we can. SBCTA has developed the West Valley Business Connector Program to support businesses along the corridor and encourage the community to shop locally during construction. There is no charge to participate, and eligible businesses will be promoted on SBCTA's social media pages, our construction alert, and the project website. Beyond promoting your business on these platforms, we also want to work with you in communicating to your customers. And if there are any specific challenges to your business during construction, please let us know. By signing up for the program, you will also be added to an exclusive business distribution list that will receive regular updates about construction outside of our weekly construction alert and general communications. If you're interested in this program, please take a second to scan this QR code and fill out the corresponding form. The link to this form is also on our project website at gosbcta.com/West Valley Connector. Once you've completed the form, someone in our team will be in touch with you to gather more information and share more about the program. All right, we are in the home stretch. I know that we're giving you guys a lot of information, so thank you for bearing with us. Our team and our project information can be found in a variety of ways. If there's a lane closure, we want you to be prepared. And if there's major construction activity near your business, we want you to be informed in advance. We offer this information in a variety of ways to ensure that you can have a choice of a platform that works best for you and your communications. Here's a snapshot of some of the ways that we share information. This example here on the left is our weekly construction alert. We send these out on Friday afternoons with the upcoming week's construction activities, so you are prepared for the week ahead. And these are packed with valuable information about key activities and roadway work. And as we mentioned earlier, also have our business spotlights for those participating in the West Valley Business Connector program. The top middle is a community notice. We use these, we distribute these flyers door to door to residents and businesses in the vicinity of where a specific operation is taking place. This particular one was sent out, I think last week, to communicate the recent traffic switch along Holt Boulevard. And below that is a postcard that we sent out to more than 30,000 businesses and residents to alert them of the start of construction. We have a robust website at gosbcta.com/West Valley Connector, where you can sign up to receive our weekly construction alerts. Here, you can also find a snapshot of our interactive project Google Maps, which can be found by clicking the top photo within our weekly construction alert, as well as on the very top of the project website there. This is an interactive map that we communicate project closures on. And again, it can be found within our construction alert and on our project website. Lastly, SBCTA is active on social media, and we encourage you to follow Go SBCTA on Facebook, Instagram, and X for additional project photos and updates. Now that you have an idea of some of the ways that we communicate, we'd like to ask you what is the best way for us to relay communication or information exclusively to this business community. So with that, we have our one last poll. This would be regular communication sent outside of those weekly construction alerts. So we can send emails or e-blasts. We can set up a text message system to let folks know what's going on the Holt corridor. We have our social media pages again, and we also have those door-to-door flyers where we can visit your business or resident with a flyer of information of what you can expect in the coming month. And then if you have another way to that works for your business for us to communicate to you that's not on this list, please go ahead and let us know. Use that chat feature and tell us the best way for us to relay this information to you. All right. That concludes our presentation. We would like to extend our appreciation to our partners at Omnitrans and the cities of Ontario, Montclair, Rancho Cucamonga, and Pomona, some of who are attendees and panelists today. A quick reminder to please click on the Q&A button to ask any questions. If you are joining us on the call-in feature, please send an email to info@gosbcta.com with any information that you'd like from our team. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and open the Q&A feature and bring my colleague Tina on board. Tina, are there any topics or themes that you've been seeing in the Q&A that we can go ahead and start with?
Thank you, Madison. We do have a couple questions. We have received questions regarding business and residential access. I know Tyson hit on it a little bit, but could you review the driveway situation again?
Tyson,
I'm just going to give that directly to you since you are the expert.
Yeah, sure. So for those of you that have multiple driveways, we will be maintaining access to one of those property driveways at all time. So what we would do is we would demo and rebuild one driveway that's closed, obviously, and then flip over and do the same thing on the other one. If you only have a single driveway, depending on the width of your driveway and the type of business that you need, there may be an opportunity to build that driveway in halves. So we would just close one half of it, demo, construct, and then do the flip on the other side. Now, we recognize that some of you have these large driveways because you have large vehicles that come through here. So we'll be working with you on individually on that. And then, of course, if it's a small driveway that we can't build in halves, we'll work directly with you to get a better understanding of your businesses, what kinds of vehicles may or may not be going in and out, schedules for deliveries, things of that nature, so that we can minimize any sort of potential impact to your business. So I'd imagine a lot of that work would take place at night during closed business hours. Again, we recognize that sometimes people have 24/7 operations. So we'll be working with you each on an individual basis as to make sure we're accommodating your needs.
Thanks, Tyson. And again, if you didn't have a chance to answer that last question about the best way to communicate with your business, please drop it in the chat, because as you can tell, it's going to be quite the task to make sure that we are reaching out to everybody that's impacted by this project and coordinating with them individually.
Okay, and Madison, we do have another question, and that is if we have a schedule for intermittent lane closures and nighttime work.
I'm gonna pass this off to Tyson, but just start with, we do have a schedule. We meet with the contractor on a weekly basis, and that's when they kind of give us the information for the upcoming couple of weeks out on the schedule. The best way to get that information is to sign up for our weekly construction alerts. And if you sign this QR code or scan this QR code that is on the screen right now, it'll take you to our sign up page. So you'll simply enter your information, and you would want to select the West Valley Connector project and then the West Valley Business Connector program, because that will be that individualized business communication emails that we'd send out. Tyson, I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, I'll just, kind of echo that. We won't have a set schedule. It'll be really intermittent over the next couple years. Probably more often this first year, and then it'll tailor down. A lot of that single lane closure work that we're having to do is due to utility underground work, and then of course some of the nighttime work. We're cognizant of or recognize that there's different functionalities of each business throughout that corridor, so we're really paying attention to make sure that we're not. We're really trying to minimize any nighttime work it may be in a residential or like a hotel area or of something of that nature. So ongoing.
Thanks, Tyson.
Okay. Thank you. So we do have another question. This is in regards to closed and or relocated bus stops. Are those stops going to be mentioned or provided in our construction alerts on a weekly basis?
All right, so I'll pass this off to Nicole from Omnitrans, and just kind of preface it here. We will be sharing that information in our weekly construction alerts. We will be working closely with our partners at Omnitrans when a bus station is relocated, so that we are communicating what is happening and where the detours are, so that you guys can plan ahead in your travels. Nicole, would you like to add on to that?
Sure. Thanks, Madison. Hello, everyone. And yeah, I would echo that. We're going to be working closely together. It's very important that we minimize inconvenience to community members and customers. So we'll have that in the newsletter. In addition to that, you can follow us at Omnitrans on any social media channel. And we will have detour information there as well. And if you happen to use transit and use the transit app, we will have banners on that app that are advertising and announcing any detours that are in place.
Thank you so much, Nicole.
Okay, thank you. We do have a technical question, and I'm not sure if it's something that can be addressed on this webinar, but let's see. Someone is requesting information about a sewer extension on the south side of Holt Boulevard. Is that part of our project, or is that a city project? Do we know?
I'm going to defer to Tyson, and if he does not have the answer to that, I would request that the person who asked this question email our project email, info@gosbcta.com. You can provide the address and we can figure out where that is and get some more information to you. But Tyson, if you have any.
Yeah, I'll say that the sewer project is not part of ours. That is a city project.
Okay.
So, but we can point you at, if you follow what Madison had mentioned, we can probably point you in the right direction as to where you need to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Another person asked if the construction schedule we provided earlier is a final schedule or subject to change.
It is definitely subject to change. Construction is a very dynamic process. There are a lot of pieces involved. We do the best that we can to stay on schedule, but that's why these communications, these weekly construction alerts are very important, so that if anything does change, we can communicate through there and as well.
Okay, thank you, Madison. I'm just double checking to see if we have everything.
Thank you.
Okay. Those are all of the questions that we have currently received. Okay, I'm sorry. There was one question about fencing being removed, but I did request that they reach out to us so we could get the address and share those details.
Absolutely. Yes. Please send us an email and we will get back to you with some more information about that.
Okay, so that concludes all of the questions, and I would like to see if Tim Watkins from SBCTA would like to join to add in anything.
Thanks, Tina. I appreciate that. Yeah, Tim Watkins, everybody from SBCTA. I'm the Chief of Legislative and Public Affairs and kind of help manage this team through this communication process. We appreciate that, one, that you're here, first of all, and engaging with us. This is the start of what we know is going to be a multi-year relationship with each other. We want you to kind of know our faces and know our names because we want to be a resource for you. Part of what this meeting is for is to introduce that opportunity to you and to connect you to the avenues on how to gain information about what's going on. Each of you have a unique relationship to the project. And so sometimes these meetings might not seem as informational as you desire them to be because we can't be specific for each project or each property along the project. But we want to give you the big picture and then let you know how to engage with us going forward. We want you to call us. We want you to, feel like that we're a resource for you so that we can help either track down the information you need, help you better understand what's happening, or just understand what your unique circumstances are. Tyson mentioned that he wants to work with all of these business to the extent possible, be sensitive to your unique circumstances as it relates to access, as it relates to timing, all of how that goes. So continue to reach out to us. I saw one of the questions mentioned an address, and they weren't sure about what their circumstance was related to if there's a relocation need or what have you. If it's a property need on the project, you would have probably already been contacted by now. But nonetheless, there might be something that we need to learn. And so we have your phone number now. We'll reach out to you and give you a call and better understand what your circumstances. And that's exactly how it's our intent for this to work going forward. We will probably do touch points just like this throughout the project to continue to check in with you and make sure that we're hitting what you need to know. This project is different than most projects that we do because it's in the local streets. It's in the local businesses and residential area as opposed to a freeway or an interchange. So we know that it's going to take a lot more interaction among us with you. And so again, thank you very much for being here. We appreciate you so much. And we know we're asking a lot of patience, but in the end, I think we're going to have a beautiful corridor and a wonderful project when it's all finished. So again, thank you guys. And thank you, Madison.
Thanks, Tim. We appreciate that. Thank you again to everybody for joining us today. We hope that you found this information helpful. And like Tim said, we provided kind of a very broad stroke of information, but the goal of this was to start this conversation. So you have our information. Please feel free to contact us at info@gosbcta.com or on the helpline number there if you have any questions specific to your business or your property. And we are happy to help you out and gather that information for you. I hope everyone has a great evening. Thank you again.